Welcome to another edition of Onside SA. Budge and I are going to run through all the latest. Things are hotting up, whether it's Champions League, whether it's last one standing, or whether who's going to get promoted from the Championship. We've got a much clearer picture in the Premier League. But Budge, let's go to last one standing first. Yeah. It's getting tough.
Oh, boys, it's gone 10 weeks, Paul. 10 of them left.
Just 10 left, you know.
Great achievement.
It is a fantastic achievement. And a lot of guys came in, they took 10, they took 5, and it's still difficult.
Oh, Paul, you only have one winner.
You only have one winner. These draws have killed you. Now, I'm just going to go through the list because they're here, and I think they're excellent. The ones who went through last week, there's 10 of 22 left. Tottenham went through at 2, Liverpool went through at 2, Fulham 4, Man City 2. The guys who went out were Arsenal, Southampton, Everton, Watford and Cardiff. Now, of those 10, Bud, you give me a list of the guys.
Yeah.
I know most of them, just to run through them, because you guys have really done well. Kevin Fourie, these Fourie boys seem to get into the finals, eh?
No, the last 10, Paul, he's done great. You know, he's in the yachts in the Bahamas somewhere,
right,
so Kev's done great.
Kev Schumacher, his nickname Schumacher. Okay. First time he drove a car, he crashed. It was still in the garage. So nickname Schumacher. Schumacher, Fourie, Tottenham. This is the teams they support as well. But Captain Leon, I know big Captain Leon.
Leon Barnard,
Tottenham
professional
man.
Bowler now, Paul.
Professional bowler, he's Tottenham man.
Yeah.
Graham Hawkins, we all know, Tottenham man. These are the guys, see where the brains are. And then Simon Bremner, do I know him?
Simon, he works for Hollywood.
Okay.
And I asked him who he supported. He said, well, I work for a bookmaker, so I support the draw. I thought, typical, Owen's got him, typical. But no, he's a Spurs man.
Spurs man, that's 4 Spurs. Then there's 3 Liverpool. Enzo Coppola, his blood's red.
Yeah.
You know, and then Henry Nardi, been around the block. He knows football. King Henry knows football. And my mate Kevin Rice.
Yeah, Kevin started with a lot. After 2 weeks, he was distraught. He couldn't believe how difficult it was. I said, you only need 1 pick.
Yeah.
He's done brilliant to get this far.
He's a Liverpool. So 4 Tottenham, 3 Liverpool. Then Paul Brett.
Now, he's one of Mark Curry's gang.
Oh, the Investec people.
The Investec boys, yeah.
Paul, well done to Paul Brett. He's a Man United supporter. Yeah. Bradley Parker, I don't know him.
Yeah, Bradley's a mate of Greg Herman's, you know, golfing mate. He's a computer analyst.
And then Eric Redmond, I know Eric very well.
Yeah.
Now he's an Everton supporter.
Yeah.
Their teams will be in with you today.
Well, I'm going to send everybody obviously their previous picks, and obviously with the Champions League, Paul, I didn't want to really
worry people. But let's go and see, how's our London studio looking? Have we got Steve B on the line?
I'm here, good morning.
Hello, Stevie, are you there?
I'm here, good morning to you both.
Hello, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, we got you loud and clear, Steve. In fact, a little louder, Kuno. Okay, Steve, wonderful to have you on the line. We obviously start off by talking about Champions League games, and there were 2 good games. It looks very tough now for the British sides, but let's talk about Tuesday night, Tottenham Ajax.
Well, I mean, look, the first half an hour, I mean, Tottenham couldn't get a kick. I mean, tactically, they look as if they got it wrong. Even though obviously they wouldn't have wished Jan Vertonghen to go off, but bringing Sissoko on and changing the shape with a flat back 4 made all the difference. And actually, from then on, you know, Tottenham had a lot more of the game. It was just a shame that they just didn't have the quality in the final third to have hurt Ajax. But you know, I think you can't write them off. There's only one goal. They know they've got to go and score at the Amsterdam Arena, and with Son back, you know, they've got a chance. But I think the way they played it, particularly at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, they showed they can outmuscle them. Yeah. And I think that's going to be something they're going to need to do, but just got to find a bit of sharpness up front.
Yeah. I agree, Steve. I just thought that the moment Sissoko, why didn't he start? Was he carrying an injury?
No, he couldn't have been. Just from my perspective and what I've read, I think they're looking at...
He was carrying an injury before, but you know, he came on and he looked very strong. And Tottenham showed. I mean, you know, they really were. You know, they really got amongst them. And I think if they just sort of sat back and let Ajax play, you know, Ajax passed the ball all around them. And even though they missed a good chance in the second half, I think, you know, ultimately Spurs had a lot of the game, but they just didn't look like they were going to score.
Do you know the talk is obviously Song comes back and Song starts. He's in the replay, and the word on the ground is Harry could be on the bench. Good to hear. You might have heard it here first.
I mean, my understanding, sort of on crutches, my understanding is he's not even might be fit for the England games in June.
Okay.
I think if that happened, that would be a bit of a miracle.
So it's hogwash. Right, let's talk about Barcelona and Liverpool last night.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, you've got to feel for Liverpool. I mean, they played really well. I mean, at times, I mean, they had, Salah had, I thought, had a great game, until, he realised until he missed that open goal at the end. But, I mean, he had the beating of Longley all day long. And you just said, this is the thing, when you've got players of the quality of Messi and Suarez, they can hurt you when, and especially at 1-0, Liverpool had chances, they had a lot of the game, they just got caught out. And I think it was obvious Klopp knew they had to get an away goal. Right at the end when he was urging Alisson to come up, probably just as well he didn't, because Dembele missed an open goal at the end, but if Alisson would have come up and they'd broken, I think 4-0 would have just been completely game over.
Yeah, I agree. But as a Man United supporter, I've taken a lot of flack lately, especially from my Liverpool mates. I've got no sympathy for the result, but their performance, they're a good team,
They're
Steve.
a good team.
Yeah, no, they played. I mean, they took the game to Barcelona, and I think in the end, I mean, they probably had as many shots, if not more, than Barcelona. Almost the same possession, which rarely happens over there at the Nou Camp. So they really gave it a go, and I think, Klopp knows, when I saw him being interviewed, he knows that not scoring an away goal, is key. And if Barcelona pinch an away goal, it's all over.
Yeah.
Liverpool got nothing to lose. They got to just go after them and get an early goal and hope for the best.
Yeah, that back four of Barcelona's, I've always said their goalkeeper's the best in the world, Ter Stegen. He showed it last night, and
yeah, he made some good saves. I mean,
he's a quality keeper.
I was surprised.
About the Salah one, if Salah would have scored, but he made a couple of good saves.
Yeah.
There was, I think, the one shot that sort of came through a pack of defenders. Was in exactly at the right place. They were two. That could easily have been the final. They wouldn't have. I think the two best teams left in the competition. But as it is, I think it's going to be very, very tough for either English team to get through now.
Steve, Europa League tonight. Now we've got Arsenal and Chelsea involved. How do you see them going?
Well, I mean, Arsenal just having a shocking run of form. They just can't seem to get it together in their back four. Valencia are a decent team. Not having the best season, but Arsenal, we know they just don't travel away particularly well, although they have done in their last European game. But they have to take a lead over to Spain. I think if they don't, they'll be in trouble. And Chelsea, you just don't know what you're going to get with them. They seem, they've been playing quite well in the Europa League.
Yeah.
They got 1 or 2 injuries. Obviously, they're going to miss Rudiger out for the season, by the sounds of it. So, I think if Chelsea come away, with a draw, they'll be very happy. And I think if Arsenal can, pinch a goal and keep a clean sheet, I think equally so.
Yeah. Steve, there was a commotion last week between Leeds and Aston Villa last Sunday. We never saw it here, bar the highlights.
What's the story?
What's the story with that?
Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of things came into play there. So essentially, Jonathan Codger, the Aston Villa forward, went down injured. Wasn't a head injury. The referee waved play on. The Leeds players played on. I think where the issue was is that they momentarily, the Leeds player had the ball stopped, and I think the Villa players thought he was going to put it out, but he didn't. He played it down the line. The Leeds player picked it up, cut in, and scored. Needless to say, all hell broke loose. The Villa players were very upset. There was a lot of pushing and shoving, and the next thing that happened is Patrick Bamford, the Leeds forward, went down holding his face and his head, and the referee came over and sent off Mohamed El Ghazi of Villa. Now, what happened next was that the Leeds manager, Bielsa, obviously felt that his team should have put the ball out, and he allowed Villa to basically walk the ball into the net to equalise. But Pontus Jansson, the Leeds defender, wasn't happy and tried to stop it, but it went in. The next day, video evidence showed very clearly that Bamford basically threw himself to the ground without being touched. The red card was rescinded, and Bamford himself has now got a 2-match ban for deceiving the referee. So, there's I don't think there's any love lost between those teams, and they could possibly play each other in the playoffs.
So Bamford misses the first playoff leg, is that right?
He would miss the first playoff game. But, when you saw it in real time, you couldn't really see what happened because there's a lot of players all melee around. But when they showed it clearly, he wasn't touched. And I think, there's been a lot of talk about sort of players feigning injury and feigning, trying to get other players sent off. And I think the FAs that have acted correctly in banning him for 2 games.
Steve, I say kudos to the Leeds manager for allowing them to equalise.
Yeah, the other thing is, obviously we've had instances. It's been some years since we've had sort of, where teams have scored and the other team have allowed them to score. As it happens, it didn't make any difference really in the grand scheme of things. Leeds could not have gone up. They were 6 points behind with an inferior goal difference. If Leeds needed to win that game to go up, when we're in the last few minutes, as it was, would Bielsa have been quite as generous? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, all right. No, I'm pleased. But let's just quickly do a Premiership preview. Bud's given you a couple of ideas of the games he wants to talk to you about.
Steve, the big game this week obviously is Cardiff and Crystal Palace. How do you see that one?
Well, I mean, I saw Cardiff at Fulham last week, and I have to say, for 80 minutes, they were really disappointing. I mean, they just didn't seem to show any urgency.
Yeah.
I mean, and until we scored, and Babel scored a great goal in the 79th minute, they just seemed sort of happy to sort of sit back at 0-0 and maybe catch us on the break. They hadn't had a shot on target. As it happened, at that point, Warnock sort of sent another couple of players and sort of threw 5 or 6 players up front, and they basically threw everything at us in the box, and we held out. But they got. I just couldn't understand. I mean, they knew they had to get a result. They couldn't rely on Brighton slipping up, and Brighton got the point that may be enough now. So Cardiff have to win. If they don't win, they're down. It's as simple as that. So I think Palace are a funny team. They're actually better away than they are at home.
Yeah.
So I think that could go either way. I think Cardiff could win it, but I mean, footballing wise, they didn't really show much at all at Fulham. I mean, it was only the last 10 minutes when they basically were kicking the ball into our penalty area.
Boy, Mr. Free header, I saw
I
it.
can't see them staying up somehow. For them to stay up, they have to win both games. So they have to beat Palace and they have to go to Old Trafford the following Sunday. Somehow, I know United have not been playing well, but I can't see them winning at Old Trafford somehow.
And talking to form teams, how do you see Fulham going at Wolves?
I think this would be a tough game. Wolves, I think, are going to be pretty determined to try and finish in that 7th place. And I think, they've been playing very well recently, Wolves. I think if Fulham got anything there at all, I think would be good going. But I've been sort of pleasantly surprised. I mean, we've won 3 in a row, kept 3 clean sheets. We'd only kept 2 the whole season. The whole season before that. So I think it hasn't hurt Scott Parker's credentials in possibly becoming our manager.
You want to know one interesting stat, Steve? I'm sure you've read it somewhere. Fulham have kept more clean sheets at home than Man United have.
I think I saw that.
That's
and away
strange.
more than Arsenal, I think it is. Which
Yeah.
is staggering, really. But so yeah. That's probably one of the only stats I think I could look at with any pride.
Steve, talking the Premiership, the top 2, can you see any of them getting beat or dropping points this weekend?
Well, I think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the City obviously have a big advantage in as much as they don't play till Monday. They haven't played this week. Liverpool, it's going to really depend how they are sort of bounce back after that our game last night.
Yeah.
Newcastle have got nothing to play for, and you just don't know. I mean, Liverpool have got to raise their game again, and they've got to win. It's as simple as that. City, I think, have got a tougher game than people think. I know that they're playing on Monday night, but Leicester City have been playing some good football.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's over yet. There could still be a twist. Either one of them could drop points. I think it's unlikely, but City made ultimately hard work of winning at Burnley. I mean, it was just sort of the one goal, and so I think Newcastle will give Liverpool a good game, but I think Liverpool should just edge that. And I think City will beat Leicester, but I think they're going to be closer than people think.
All right, of the top 6, can you see any of them getting beat? Tottenham at Bournemouth, would that be your dodgy one of the form?
That's, again, see, Tottenham can't afford to rest players because they've got obviously slipping up against West Ham I think really hurt them, because had they won that game they probably could have taken the foot off the gas. They probably would have had enough, but that's a tough game. Bournemouth haven't been playing that well, but at home they are a decent side, so I think that's a tough. I think it could be a bit of a banana skin for Tottenham.
You heard that, Paul? Bit of a banana skin for Tottenham.
I'm not even listening to Steve when he talks about Tottenham.
Steve, the only other game which I think could have serious top 4, Chelsea-Watford?
Yeah, I mean, Watford obviously going to have one eye on the cup final.
Yeah.
But again, Chelsea have got a tough game away in Germany tonight. I think it's in Chelsea's hands still. They're obviously above, Arsenal. They're above United. I think they're going to want to win that. I think they will do, but I think it'll be quite close.
Steve, onto the championship. What's the latest with Bolton? The Notts Forest game.
Well, my understanding is that they have or are about to get a short-term loan from the Professional Footballers Association to pay towards some of the players' wages. They will the last I saw very early this morning is they will fulfil the fixture at Nottingham Forest on Sunday, and then they have until Wednesday to fulfil the fixture at home to Brentford, the rearranged game. And I think that's quite critical, because if they don't do that, there is a danger that they could have points deducted next season. So I think they're going to do whatever they can to get that game played.
Yeah. Well, everything's done and dusted with the two automatic places. Derby have to win to go up. Do you see them beating West Brom?
Well, that's very interesting. I mean, Derby essentially, were in the playoffs last night at half time. They were 3 clear with a good goal difference. Swansea pegged them back. They've now got a tough game against West Brom, and there's obviously, if they slip up, then either Bristol City or Middlesbrough. And I think Middlesbrough have got probably the best chance. So if Derby fail to beat West Brom and Middlesbrough win at Rotherham, as you would expect them to, then it'll be Middlesbrough. So but there's also, I think Villa are sitting there, really are the informed team. If Leeds lost to Ipswich, and you can't see that happening, but they're really out of form, and West Brom win at Derby, then West Brom finish above Leeds, and would mean that they would avoid playing Aston Villa in the playoffs. So I think there is, what could have been done and dusted is now actually, you've got 3 teams vying for that 6th place. So it does make it quite interesting. You've also got a situation where if Villa beat Norwich, Sheffield United could actually win the league by winning at Stoke. So Norwich haven't won.
I see, Steve. If Derby get a point, Bristol can't.
Yeah, Bristol City. Well, then Middlesbrough.
Only Middlesbrough. So Derby need a point.
Derby get a point, but their goal difference is superior. But Rotherham are down. That they are reasonable at home, but Middlesbrough know that they've got to go there and win, and I think they will do. So Derby are under pressure. They've got to beat.
They've got to win. They've got to win.
Simple as that. So at least there is. That's quite exciting. And then the playoffs. I mean, if you've got Derby, Villa, West Brom, and Leeds, you've got 4 big teams there. So and I think, to me, Villa will start as favourites.
Okay.
All right, Steve. Well, that wraps that up. Very, very good. I hope that your team get another clean sheet. The mighty Fulham.
Yeah, look, I also hope that Tottenham can find some form and sort of impose themselves in Amsterdam on Wednesday, because however sort of good Ajax looked, I thought they were vulnerable at the back, but they just weren't exposed.
Yeah.
So you get Son running at them, different sort of style than playing with Llorente or Moura. Then I think they've got a chance, Tottenham. People are writing them off too soon.
I agree.
All right, Stevie. Thanks very much. As usual,
Pleasure.
great to get all the news.
Bye.
All the best,
Cheers.
Steve.
Bye-bye. There we go, Stevie B back in the studio in London. So we've done the Championship, we've done the Premier League, but let's talk about the Golden Boot, the top goal scorer. This is very tight. And how many games left? 2.
2 games,
Now, Mo Salah, even money. So if you think Mo Salah is going to win it again, you take the even money. He's on 21 goals. Aguero, just over 2-1, on 1 goal less at 20. Sadio Mane on 20. And then 19, Aubameyang. Very good player. Jamie Vardy, 18. Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling, 17. That's too far back for me.
Too far back,
One of them gets a hat-trick studying the back of the scrum. But very interesting. But your opinion, who's going to win it?
Well, the way Salah was missing them last night, you can't back him, can you?
I'll go Aguero to try and maybe nab him.
Well, that's
what happens they end up tie?
Well, they'll share it. But
One
the
boot
bookmakers obviously will halve your bet and stake.
Okay.
So Aguero looks the right one.
Yeah, Aguero, but Salah, as Steve said, he played well last night. He tore that guy in strips. They were pulling his jersey.
They were unlucky, Liverpool.
Right, let's go and have a look at the Premiership fixtures, starting off with the games we've got in hand here. But give me your opinion.
Well, it kicks off on Friday. Lancashire Derby, Everton versus Burnley. Everton won their last 3, but I was impressed with the fight Burnley have shown lately, Paul.
Amazing, eh?
Would
you like to be a season ticket holder?
No, definitely not. But when you remember they've been up and down the last few years, they've only got, I think it's 10, 15,000 supporters. So I don't mind watching Burnley. It's better than...
Burnley is a team that hasn't got a city, they've got a town.
That's right,
Burnley's got a town. It's a small little place and that's it, But
well, that's Nigel Swinbank. That's his hometown.
Is that his hometown?
His dad,
Burnley.
50-odd years he's watched Burnley. So
he must
yeah, I
be.
think they can get a draw there, Paul. They're well organised.
Yeah, they're well organised. Everton are doing well.
Yeah, Everton hard to beat at Goodison, but
What about Bournemouth?
Paul, you just never know with what's going to happen with
Yeah.
Tottenham. You know, Son will obviously play.
Yeah.
I just hope they have a go.
They will play him and Moura, I would
Yeah.
suspect. That they play Ali. Ali looked out of sorts playing in the middle.
Can't play in the midfield.
No, he's not in the midfield. He's got to be
Gotta
up
be
with
up
the
front.
striker. They might bring in Ollie,
Yeah.
the young boy. But they've got to keep an.
Got to keep one eye, obviously. Sissoko's injury, if he has an injury, but he's got to start.
Sissoko's fine.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
just think they've got to have a
wonder
go.
where
Paul.
Dyer is, you know.
He was on the bench the other
Vertonghen's
day.
been cleared of
Yeah,
not
but
having
you can't play
concussion.
him, Paul.
No, he wouldn't play him. He won't play him. He'll play Foyt and people
Yeah.
like that, you know. But we've had a lot of injuries, as most teams have. But when you sit back and look at no Song, no Kane, no Aurea, no Winks,
Yeah.
you know, no
Well, those are your
Lamela,
key players,
no
yeah.
Dyer. These are all key players that have been injured. I hope he gives Graziani a run
Well, he's
too.
got to play, but just hope he has a go, Paul.
Oh,
you know.
he has to. He has to
know.
because, you know,
He'll finish
all things
third,
being
Paul.
equal, we lose to Ajax.
Yeah.
And then
It's
we
a bad
we-
season.
then
Not a bad season,
Not a
but
bad. No, they're a good side.
disappointing ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. A 9 to 10, Paul, I wouldn't be taking. I
Since
think
January,
goals.
they've had 9 away games.
Yeah.
They've won 1 and lost 8.
Well, you've lost your last 5 in the league.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm
that's
saying.
worrying,
So,
but,
worrying, but I think they're all aware of it.
Yeah. No, I'd be going goals in that game, Paul. Bournemouth and.
Okay, West Ham,
Well, West Ham
Southampton.
were fortunate last week. Yeah, Spurs missed a few chances.
Yeah,
But they've got
so
players. They can score
West Ham
goals.
played well second half.
Yeah.
They played well,
And
very
they didn't
well
deserve
second
to
half.
lose at
No,
Man United.
no.
Southampton are safe now. So it just worries me whether they'll take the foot off the
They
pedal.
still attack a lot.
Yeah, that manager, that Austrian, he doesn't sit back.
He doesn't sit
but,
back.
13 to 10, I wouldn't be taking. But of the two teams, you've got to fancy West Ham.
Wolves, Fulham, I think Wolves
Paul,
be too
Wolves,
good.
absolute certainties, Paul. I think it's 12 to 10 Wolves to win by more than one. Fulham, they've done great. I just don't see them going
They have
to
done well.
Wolves.
You know, I watched them. They have done well. And then Cardiff City.
Paul, I think
do
they
or
got the
die.
betting wrong. You know, you can't beat Fulham with all due respect to the Fulham fans away from home in a must-win game. Crystal Palace, they've only lost one of the last 5. They won 4 and lost 1. The last 2, Spurs away, the opening of the stadium.
That's right.
They've got dangerous players.
Yeah, they
You
have.
know, I wouldn't, you know, it's everyone's backing Cardiff or tipping Cardiff because of what they've got to do. I like Cardiff for the two teams.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Cardiff-
Crystal Palace, sorry.
yeah,
Crystal
okay.
Palace, yeah.
Right, let's go look at Liverpool have to travel. Now, obviously, they're going to be not jaded, but they're going to say, listen, guys,
They'll be
we've got to turn it
disappointed,
around.
but,
They play on Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to do, but they've got a squad.
Yeah.
You know, you bring in the Swiss player.
No, they've got players. You know,
They've
he's done a
got
great
players.
job, Klopp. They just, you know, I just think they need one more attacking player. You know, we wish they'd sold Daniel Sturridge and replaced him with somebody a little bit better so
Yeah.
he could rotate the players.
Firmino didn't start last
Nah,
night. But no, they've got the squad. And they can load their bench,
Yeah.
or else they can play guys and get ahead and then bring on.
And the key thing, Paul, they don't concede too many goals.
No.
I think Newcastle will grab them. I think they will be a little bit lethargic, Liverpool. I think maybe, but I think Liverpool
have
will
to
win
win.
2-1, 3-1. That's, I think it'll end up.
A good side, but you know,
Yeah,
when you work
quality.
it out, the guys who promote Liverpool will say straight out, you know, we could run second in the league with 97 points, a Champions League semi-final again. But the detractors will tell you 4 years with Klopp, 400 million, no trophies,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's the negative side. But I think they're a wonderful side. I think they go forward
they're
with
a
pace. They're a good team,
Paul,
Liverpool.
and they don't concede. They're,
Yeah, they're a very good team.
top team, Paul.
Chelsea have to win,
Well,
but Watford
Watford are a funny team,
Yeah.
Paul. You know, if ever there's an upset, this is the one for me. You know, London derby, Chelsea got to play in on track tonight, Jimmy. They have to play their best team tonight. You know, there's no resting
win the
players.
Europa League,
you automatically qualify for the Champions
and the
League.
team who finishes fourth
Well,
in the
England
league.
get 4 teams anyway. So if Chelsea finish fourth and win the Europa League, only 4 teams go in. It's if Arsenal
But if
finish,
Arsenal finish fourth and Chelsea win, 5
then
teams.
then 5 teams. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at Huddersfield Town. You know, they've really been taking a battering. They're trying to play football. Man United should be way too strong.
Well, Paul, if we can't win this game, well, then I don't know what's going to happen. We've lost the last 3 away from home. I think Huddersfield have lost 10 of the last 11 home games. They've only beaten Wolves. They beat Wolves twice and Fulham once. That's the only 3 games they've won. Paul, if United can't roll this team, well, then I'm worried what's happening at Old Trafford.
Okay, Arsenal too good at home for
There
Brighton.
should be, Paul. I think there'll be goals in this. Purely because,
Brighton need a point or something?
well, it depends. If Cardiff don't win,
Then they say.
then they'll open the gates. And I think he's taking a lot of flack, Chris Hughton, but I don't blame
Will he
him.
keep
how
his
he's-
job?
Well,
I
I
say
think
no
he should.
chance. I say no chance. Every year it's the same thing.
You know,
They're
what do you
fighting just
expect?
that.
You know,
But
they don't spend much
How
money.
did they turn out?
Yeah.
They came against Spurs were shocking. They came the next game, they were shocking. They just fill up the defence and leave a guy up front.
You know, if you got the guy Murray up front, how old is he? 34, 35? Glenn Murray.
But they bought the South African.
Yeah, but he's on loan. He's
That's
in
what I'm saying.
Belgium.
They've loaned a lot of players out. I'm a Chris Hughton man because he came from Spurs.
I wouldn't fire him, but
I'm making him a
better the
short
devil
price,
you know, Paul.
short price to get bulleted. They can't keep just fighting at the back like that. They've got a new stadium. Man City, Leicester.
Well,
1-6 is short, eh?
yeah, Paul, I just think you can't lay Man City. They won their last 12. They're a class team.
She's
One
a good
bad
team.
result in Europe with VAR, gave it to your Spurs. Otherwise, they'd have been in the Champions League. But hard to see Leicester. Leicester play football. That's their problem.
Yeah.
They aren't going to go and park the bus. And Man City don't get
that's
beat
right.
at home too often.
And a team comes at you, Man City will destroy them.
Yeah, and they've got pace at the back. They know Vardy over the top, so they'll play the young whippet. Stones will play with Laporte, so they won't fall into that trap. They've got a fancy Man City, but this,
Vardy's a great player. He's up there with the best goal scorers in the league.
he's in the
playing with
box,
Leicester.
Paul. He's always a threat.
Always a threat. Then they turn and sling it over the top. He's gone.
He's gone. He's a
He's
grey
off
out.
like a dirty shirt.
Well, they had on Monday. They had when Leicester won the league. They had him and Mahrez. Geez, they terrorised them at
They
the back, Man
terrorised them,
City.
yeah.
But every one of their back four's gone now. Guardiola got rid of every one of the four back defenders.
Guardiola gets good teams. Right, let's go championship fixtures. They're next there, Budge.
Yeah, last week, it's the last game of the week, the last game of the season for them. So they're all 1:30 on Sunday, same time.
Same time. So Aston Villa, Norwich, Budge.
Well, they're both in the Norwich have won. Have got promotion.
Villa in the playoffs.
Villa in the playoffs.
I think
but
Villa will drop players.
I just can't. They've got to play 10 of the players from their previous 16 that they chose. That's the rule. You can't just completely put the B team in and rest them. They will rest one or two. But the playoffs start next weekend. So you've got plenty of time. And Villa have won their last 5 at home. There's going to be a big crowd there, Paul. I think they'll win. 16-10, I think it's a good bet.
But
Norwich...
was it last year that Fulham finished 6th and came up?
Yeah.
So they got...
No, Fulham finished 3rd, it came up. They were in the play. They were there right till the end, Fulham, and it fell out.
Oh, I thought they were 6th.
No,
Okay,
it was
sorry.
3rd, yeah.
Okay, Blackburn, Swansea.
Well, I like Blackburn. Yeah, Swansea away from home are terrible. Lost 7 of the last 8. Blackburn have been in a bit of a run. You know,
Okay.
I think 13-10 Blackburn's a good bet.
Brentford, Preston.
Well, Brentford at home.
Preston.
My boys, Preston. We're terrible. We've lost the last 3 away, Paul. Brentford, I think, have lost one of the last 11 at home. I can't take 9-10 Brentford because it's my team, Preston, but I wouldn't blame you if you did.
Derby, do-or-die Derby,
Well, I
play
fancy
West Brom.
Derby. It's do or die.
Hard game.
It is a hard game. West Brom
Who's
away
in charge
from
of West Brom now?
Well, it's
It's
they're
Pula-
not no, it
Moore
was
was
Darren
there.
Moore was there. They've got a guy called Jimmy Shan. He's taken over the
Jackie Shan's cousin.
More than likely, you'll need him. A lot of the fans don't like him. The players love him, but I fancy Derby, Paul. It's do or die. They've got a lot of good young players
Hull
7 to
City
10.
play Bristol. Bristol are fighting to get
fighting
in there.
for their life. Yeah.
As I say, they've got 2 obstacles. The teams in 6th and 7th. You know.
And the problem with these
Hull
games,
City not a bad side.
at home, Paul, a good team at home.
1-9, drawn 3, lost 1.
Yeah, that's their record. They lost to Sheffield
1 and
United.
13. 1 and
It's
13.
the only
Don't be
team
good.
that beat them.
Yeah.
Bristol City away have been disappointing, but I worry about games like this, Paul. Can you imagine if Derby go 2-0 up early? You know, it'll get through to the Bristol City fans and the players. So I wouldn't have a bet in that game, Paul.
Ipswich Town, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, Leeds will come back, Paul. There's no doubt about that. I think they've won 1-19, Ipswich.
Yeah.
6-10 Leeds.
What's this? The Notts Forest.
Well, what's
Bolton?
happened? That's the game. Bolton players went on strike, so there's no betting for that game.
Okay, all right.
So,
they're going to get the
so
funded,
the betting will come out on Saturday if they fulfil their fixtures.
Are Reading still in the league?
Yep, they stayed up. You know, their home form, they lost only one of the last 9.
Okay. And
Now, I like Gary Monk at Birmingham. He cost us last week.
Yeah.
They're unbeaten in 6. A draw, a big player for me there, though, Paul. 24-10.
This is a major game. Rotherham United, down there, are so far down, and they're playing against Middlesbrough.
Well, they're
fighting.
relegated, Paul. They're playing Middlesbrough. Tony Pulis, for once, is going to have to send the troops forward.
Have to go forward.
8-10, but sometime, but likewise, if Derby are 2-0 up, it's going to, the
I'd
message
still
will
take
get
8-10. I think they're good
I think
things.
they should be, Paul.
Sheffield Wednesday,
I
QPR.
think certainty Sheffield Wednesday. Steve Bruce done a good job. QPR are gone. They haven't replaced the manager. Caretaker John Hughes is in charge. For me, Sheffield Wednesday, certainties.
Stoke against United.
Well, this is a trick one because Sheffield United have been promoted. You know, Stoke at home
Stoke
have drawn...
that far down?
Yeah, they've drawn 5 of the last 6, Paul. I think they've drawn 9 of the last 13 league games. Won't be clear. But Nathan Jones, the young Welshman's gone in. He's going to clear out. Charlie Adams reportedly leaving. Not an elderly player there.
Charlie, yeah, gee.
But I think a draw, a big player for me.
Where
there,
did the big tall striker go from Stoke? He went to somewhere.
Peter Crouch went on loan to Burnley. Yeah.
Burnley, yeah. And then Wigan against Millwall.
I like Wigan, Paul. Wigan at home don't get beat too often.
11 to
Millwall
10.
are safe. They got beat at midweek. Millwall got beat at home 2-1. So I like Wigan.
Okay, let's look at PSL, Budge. Midweek
That's-
results are here. Black Leopards 1, Sundowns 2.
Sundowns were cruising. Black Leopards scored in injury time. So, but the pressure's come on in the Premiership. I mean, in the PSL, Paul.
Now let's talk about this. 28 games.
Yep.
Pirates plus 17, 53 points. Sundowns in second, 53 points, plus 13.
Yeah.
4 points is a point
Yeah.
now.
Well, Pirates have got Cape Town City this week, and they've got Polokwane, so they've got the harder games.
Who've Sundowns got?
Sundowns have got, I think it's Highlands Park and Golden Arrows.
The goal difference could be
Goal
eradicated.
difference is crucial, Paul.
Okay, let's look at the relegation battle. Now, this is shocking. At the bottom of the league in 16th place, on 23 points, is Maritzburg,
Yeah.
minus 12. 24 points, Chippa United, minus 11. Wow.
1 point difference. So if Maritzburg get a draw and
But on 26 points, minus 17, Black Leopards. If they lost and Maritzburg won, they go ahead of them.
yeah.
And then on 26 points as well, Free State Stars.
Yeah, they got Chiefs this
I
week.
think
yeah.
Baraka, Calcium,
Baraka
are
is safe, yeah. They get results away from
Your
home.
opinion, who's going down? Tough, eh?
Yeah, it's tough, Paul. I just think Maritzburg are in trouble. Eric Tingler's done a great job.
Yeah.
Just hope they can stay in for the KZN boys. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at the games this week,
Yeah.
Budge. Let's have a quick look at them. Okay, Amazulu, top of the boards.
Now,
against
Paul,
the Leopards.
Amazulu have got the second best home record. I think they'll beat Black Leopards 13-10. I think Amazulu are good things, Paul.
Wits, my boys.
Yeah, but they've come well. I think they've won 3 of the last 5. But Baraka don't get beat too often. They've
Yeah.
only lost 1 of the last 9. But now they're safe.
Yeah, might be
They
different
may
story.
open up. You've got to think 5 to 10 Wits, Paul. But I think there'll be goals in that game.
Cape Town City, Orlando.
Well, this
Pirates.
is a game of the weekend.
Great game.
Cape
Great
Town
game,
City
Bud.
last 10 home games.
And it's
Paul,
on
they haven't lost.
Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Haven't lost, Paul, the last 10 home games.
Cape Town City?
Haven't lost.
Ooh.
Pirates won the last 3 away. I'm funking for Pirates, Paul, but it won't be easy. Benny will have his boys fired up. But,
Highlands Park, Bloom.
Paul, I like Blum. They beat Chiefs. I watched a bit of it last week. They beat Chiefs, won it at home. They played well.
Chiefs are 7th, eh?
Chiefs are 7, struggling in the league. They're going for the Telkom now, so the Nedbank Cup. That's their main aim. I think win and draw Bloemfontein Celtic there, Paul.
How would Chiefs go against Free State Stars? They're fighting
Well,
for their life.
They're struggling, hanging on top 8, but the game's been played in Nelspruit. Chiefs move all their home games all over the country.
Why is that for their supporters?
Supporters, I don't think they get much support anymore in
Yeah.
Joburg. Or they can't fill, they played FNB Stadium, which holds, I think, 80,000, so you get 20,000, it's empty. You've got to think they'll rebound, Paul, but Free State Stars are struggling, so I would go Chiefs in a draw.
They need a point, yeah.
Yeah.
Maritzburg United, Supersport.
Supersport don't get beat too often. I don't think they've lost to them in 11 occasions they've played at Harry Gwala and Maritzburg, Supersport. I'm hoping for Maritzburg,
Me
Paul,
too.
but
I'd like to see Tinkler stay
I think
up.
there's goals in that game, Paul.
How about Polokwane
I like
City?
Polokwane. They score goals, Paul. Chippa lost their last 3 away, but Clinton Larson, they did well in the Nedbank. But in the league, I watched them last week against, they got beat 1-0 at home. It was Bits. Didn't have many chances, so I worry for Clint's team.
Yeah, all right, let's go
Polokwane
look at your 6s and your 10s and your 13.
Tell
us what
the
you're
PSL
thinking.
I've got one banker and obviously thrown the draws in. I think Amazulu will beat Black Leopards. I've gone Orlando Pirates win and draw at home against Cape Town City. I've gone Highlands Park. I think that'll be a draw, Paul. Highlands Park win and draw against Bloem Celtic. I've gone Kaiser Chiefs win and draw at home against Free State Stars. I've sided with Supersport United win and draw at Maritzburg. And I've thrown the draw in Bidvest, Wits and Baraka 192.
All right, the next 6.
The English one, I've gone the field with West Ham versus Southampton. I think Wolves would be too good for Fulham. I've gone Atletico Madrid, win and draw at home against Espanyol. Now, Sundowns wide at Casablanca. That's a CAF Champions League semi-final. They're 2-1 down from the first leg. It won't be easy. Wydad had a million chances to bury them. So I've gone win and draw Sundowns at home. I've gone the field in the Cardiff Crystal Palace game. And I think Liverpool will beat Newcastle 2-1-6.
All right, let's go on the 10.
The 10 I've banked Amazulu to beat Black Leopards. I've gone Orlando Pirates win and draw at Cape Town City. I've gone Highland Park win and draw at home against Bloem Celtic. I've gone Kaiser Chiefs win and draw at home against Free State Stars. I've gone win and draw Supersport United against Maritzburg. I've gone Polokwane win and draw at home against Chippa. I've banked Bidvest Wits to beat Baroka. I've gone West Ham win and draw at home against Southampton. I've sided with Crystal Palace to get a good result at Cardiff City. And I've banked Liverpool to beat Newcastle, 256.
The big one, the impossible big one.
Well, we've got to keep trying, Paul. I've banked Liverpool to beat Newcastle. I've gone Crystal Palace win and draw at Cardiff City. I've gone West Ham win and draw against Southampton. I've banked Wolves to beat Fulham. Now, the next sort of all League One games, I've banked Barnsley to beat Bristol Rovers, Charlton to beat Rochdale. I've gone Doncaster Rovers win and draw at home against Coventry City. The second page, I've gone Plymouth Argyle win and draw at home against Scunthorpe. I've banked Portsmouth to beat Accrington Stanley. I've gone Sunderland win and draw at Southend. And the last three are our usual Swedish games. I've gone IFK Gothenburg win and draw at Sirius. I've gone Jalby win and draw against Allgrad. And I've gone Varberg's Boys win and draw at Vosteris, 435.
All right, get those on. Let's go look at your bets, bud. It's the best part of the
Paul,
show. One of them's got me stumped. One of your bets, I've got to get your logic on this.
That's fair enough.
Go through the
I've gone
Premiership
Wolves
quad.
to beat Fulham by more than one goal.
I can live with that.
I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Bournemouth, Tottenham and Huddersfield Man United game.
that.
And I've gone over 3.5 goal Arsenal Brighton.
So Arsenal got to score 4.
Yeah. For the simple reason, I just think Brighton will be safe. And he'll release and they'll have a go and they'll get beat 3-1 or 4-2, something like that. It was 17-10. It would have worked out.
You think they're going to score 4?
I think Arsenal. Okay. I think there's plenty of goals in that game.
Okay, fair enough. Because Brighton, they
Yeah, they parked the bus, but they'll be safe, Paul.
Okay.
So,
how do you know if they'll be safe?
Well, I don't see Cardiff beating Crystal Palace.
Will they know the
they play on Sunday.
Okay.
That's the whole idea.
Championship.
The championship, yeah. I've gone Blackburn to beat Swansea at home. I've gone Sheffield Wednesday to beat QPR. I've gone Wigan Athletic to beat Millwall, and I've gone win and draw Stoke City against Sheffield United, who have been promoted, and I think they'll just go out there, fulfil the fixture, Paul. Stoke are desperate.
PSL quad.
The PSL quad, yeah. I've gone Amazulu to beat Black Leopards. I've gone Bloemfontein Celtic, win and draw against Highlands Park, and I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Bidvest Wits Baroka game. And both teams to score, Maritzburg versus Supersport, 3,300 to 200.
Okay, you've got another both teams to score.
Yep, both teams to score. This is a premiership one, Paul. I've gone Bournemouth, Tottenham, Cardiff, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Watford, Newcastle, Liverpool, and West Ham, Southampton, 14-1, 2,800 to 200.
The Spanish omelette.
The Spanish omelette, yeah. I've gone Sevilla to beat Leganes by more than one goal. I've gone Atletico Madrid to beat Espanyol. And I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Huesca Valencia and Real Valladolid Athletic Bilbao game, 3,800 to 200. And our Collis King 6 on extra. I've gone Arsenal to beat Brighton, Wolves to beat Fulham, Sheffield Wednesday to beat QPR, Wigan to beat Millwall, Sevilla to beat Leganes, and Amazulu to beat Black Leopards, 4,600 to 200.
Okay, Budge, your best bet and value bets have always been good.
Yeah.
You're taking the 11 to 10 Derby.
Paul, I couldn't put them in our bets because I thought if they won in midweek, they'd have nothing to play for.
Yeah.
11 to 10, they've got everything to play for. If they can't beat West Brom, who are struggling away from home, well, then I'll do my money, Paul. So it's Frank Lampard.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, I just can't believe 16 to 10. Yeah, Norwich already promoted. I know everyone wants to win the league, but for me, you want to get promoted to Premiership. Whether you win the league or not doesn't make any sense.
Is there no money involved?
Well, there could well be, Paul, but they'll still be celebrating. Every time I've read anything about Norwich, the town's in celebratory mood. And I can't believe it. They've won 10 and drawn 2 of the last 12. They've won the last 5 at home. You know, I don't see them resting many players. Why would you when you've got the playoffs next week?
True. Okay, there we go. Best bet Derby County, value bet Aston Villa. Don't forget the last one standing. There's 10 of 22 still in. Yep. And is it going to be one of the Kevins? Is it going to be Eric? Is it going to be Investec? It looks interesting.
Yeah. A lot of Liverpool boys had a bad week, so let's see what happens this week.
Yeah. All right, that's excellent. So again, as I said, get your bets in. There's only 10 of you left to see who can win it. And until next time, stay on side.